Queen Elizabeth had no regrets as she approached the end of her life. She was filled with a sense of peace, her thoughts centered on her faith, her father, and the breathtaking beauty of Balmoral. In her final years, despite the family troubles that marked her later life, Queen Elizabeth II found solace and contentment as she neared her journey's end. The senior churchman who spent time with her at Balmoral just days before her passing, the Right Reverend Dr. Ian Greenshields, the former moderator of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, shared insights into the Queen's state of mind during that visit. Dr. Greenshields spent a few days at the castle in the previous summer as a guest of the Queen, a tradition that was upheld. He noted that the Queen was physically frail, but their one-on-one conversations revealed her mental sharpness and deep contemplation. Her thoughts were focused on her faith, as well as that of her father, King George VI. It would be normal for a moderator to discuss matters of faith, but I was very intrigued by how much she wanted to talk about her own, Dr. Greenshields recalled. It was her Platinum Jubilee year, so she was reflecting on her life. She had an extraordinary memory, no regrets, and was truly at peace. She also spoke of her father, King George VI, and how his faith had a profound influence on her. Dr. Greenshields admitted that he was initially surprised that his visit wasn't cancelled due to the Queen's frailty, but her determination to have him there prevailed. She even wanted him to deliver the sermon at Crathie Church, just as she had been eager to meet with Boris Johnson and Liz Truss for the prime ministerial handover. During his stay, Dr. Greenshields was one of very few visitors due to concerns about tiring the Queen. The intimate dinners included just 6 people, including the Queen, Sophie Wessex, now the Duchess of Edinburgh, the Princess Royal and her husband, Commander Sir Timothy Lawrence, John Warren, the Queen's horse trainer and racing manager, and Sophie Wessex herself. Throughout those final meals and in private conversations, the Queen continued to discuss her faith and her profound affection for Scotland, with Balmoral holding a special place in her heart. Dr. Greenshields recalled a moment when she gazed out the window and remarked, "Who would not want to be here?" It was evident that she was in a tranquil, reflective state, fully at peace. Dr. Greenshields, who stepped down as moderator in May, delivered the homily at the service of thanksgiving for Queen Elizabeth I's life at St. Giles's Cathedral in Edinburgh on September 11 of the previous year. He also attended her funeral at Westminster Abbey. Reflecting on her passing, Dr. Greenshields shared, "When she died, I thought of my mother and how she, too, had spoken about her faith just before she passed away, something she wouldn't normally do. So I do wonder if people, even subconsciously, are preparing for the end. It's also quite common for individuals nearing the end of their lives to reflect on their parents, as the Queen did." During their conversations, the Queen also mentioned an American religious leader who had a significant impact on her. Although she didn't mention his name, Dr. Greenshields suspected it might have been Billy Graham, whom she had met. They also discussed the Church of Scotland, where the Queen was just a member without holding a high position, unlike her role as Supreme Governor in the Church of England. This distinction seemed to appeal to her. Queen Elizabeth's unwavering religious faith had been the foundation of her remarkable 70-year reign. She had always viewed her life and responsibilities as queen through the lens of her Christian faith, and it was evident that her faith remained steadfast until the very end. As the Dean of Westminster, David Hoyle, began Queen Elizabeth I's funeral service 11 days after her passing on September 8, he reminded the congregation and the millions watching around the world that they were there to mourn her loss and celebrate her lifelong dedication to selfless service. However, he also emphasized that they had gathered in sure confidence to commit her to the mercy of God, our Redeemer. Her faith was profound and refreshingly uncomplicated, nurtured through regular church attendance every Sunday, singing hymns, reciting the Book of Common Prayer, and delving into the Bible. One of her most cherished possessions was a prayer book thoughtfully compiled for her by Geoffrey Fisher, the then Archbishop of Canterbury. This book was a special aid in preparing for her coronation in 1953. For Queen Elizabeth II, her Christian faith held a significance that extended beyond personal spirituality. She bore the role of Supreme Governor of the Church of England, particularly during a period when Britain was undergoing a secular transformation and witnessing greater religious diversity. However, she had a unique ability to bridge the gap between the church and society, a talent few bishops could match. Queen Elizabeth effectively communicated her beliefs without imposing them on others, a notable example being her Christmas Day broadcasts. Her funeral, while distinctly Anglican, also made room for leaders of other faiths, symbolizing her inclusive approach. Queen Elizabeth had been hesitant to discuss her own funeral arrangements at times, but eventually she made her preferences known, including some of her favorite hymns. One of these hymns was "The Lord's My Shepherd," which had also been sung at her wedding to Prince Philip in 1947. It was a fitting choice, especially for the verse that expressed her unwavering faith. "Yea, though I walk through death's dark vale, yet will I fear none ill, for thou art with me, and thy rod and staff me comfort still." During her committal, her own symbol of authority, the scepter, was placed alongside the orb and the imperial state crown on the altar of St. George's Chapel, Windsor. It symbolized the end of her official duties as a monarch. At that moment, Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor ceased to be a queen and became a Christian soul, much like any other believer. In a little-known book for the Bible Society, she had once expressed her gratitude to God for his unwavering love, writing, "I have indeed seen his faithfulness." Dear friend, if you like everything new about the royal family and don't want to miss all the novelties, subscribe to our channel and like it. By doing so, you take part in our development. We work for you.